Welcome to the Land Your Bet Sports Betting Show. 5 games in the W here on Friday. I'm taking you through 3 deep dives with the key info that you need for these 3 games, as well as a couple best bets that I already have down in the Discord, which is free, by the way. Link is in the description of the video if you want to jump in there. But before we get into everything, I do need to tell you about what's going down here on the Land Your Bets Sports Betting Network. And that is that I have officially partnered with WAP.com to go ahead and bring you guys those picks and write-ups that I have been bringing you for free up till now, putting those on WAP.com. So definitely check out the link to that also in the description of the video. Really simple, WAP.com/land-your-bets. That'll get you right onto the page to get the packages that you guys need to make sure you continue to get these picks. Now, I'm still going to be bringing everything to you for free here on YouTube. The Discord and all of the channels, except for my bets and write-ups, will continue to be free as well. So feel free to just jump in there and get into the conversation. A lot of really good looks from some of the VIP members as well. We're bringing you their picks, so plenty to get in there if you don't want to get over to WAP.com. But that is where I'll be putting my plays moving forward for you guys. Have a couple in these videos for you as well, so make sure you do keep tuning in. Subscribe to that page if you would. Going to be doing some giveaways as well. Plus, most importantly, if you are in the Discord before the end of September, the free Discord, you will have 50% off for 3 months. That's a code that I give to everybody that's in the Discord right now through the end of September. That'll get you 50% off your first 3 months. For now, though, let's get right into Friday. Game 1 on the slate here that I'm looking at. We've got the Lynx. They are playing host to the Sky, right? And so what are we looking at here? Well, we got the Lynx, who already clinched a playoff spot, probably going to be a 2 seed. And we've got the Sky, who are working their way right out of the playoffs. Really bad loss for this team in their last game just a couple nights ago to the Mystics, who are looking to make a playoff push if they can as well. Lost by 31 points, really just kind of gave up towards the end of that game. Not a good showing for them at home as well, I should say. Now they're on the road playing Minnesota. Tough to see them putting forth too much of an effort, but we'll get into a little bit more of why I'm not necessarily just speeding up to bet on the Lynx here. If you look at the offensive rating and defensive rating, obviously everything going to favor the Lynx. They've been a much better team all season. They like to play really slow, and they are very bad at rebounding. Those are the 2 things about the Lynx that might do them in this season and be the reason they're not able to beat some of the top-level teams in the league. But their shooting is incredible, and that is where the Sky have been absolutely terrible and only gotten worse since they lost Marina Mabrey. Thing is, if you look at what the Sky do well, they crash the boards and they score down low. And that's really it. And they do get out into transition. The Lynx have a really good transition defense because the strength of the defense for Minnesota is out on the perimeter, right? Not very good down low. They give up the 7th most second chance point, or that's the 5th most second chance points and the 5th most paint points. And those are the 2 places that you really just need to be good at to be able to stop this Sky offense. If you can do that, you can stop them entirely. They haven't necessarily been able to stop them to the tune of beating them badly this season. That's for sure. They only won the one game by less than 10 points, I believe. Now they've got a 12-point spread at home. A little bit scary to just go ahead and feel like the Lynx should win this game because of how much better they are with a spread all the way up at 12.5 points. Similarly, the Sky are pretty good at limiting what the Lynx want to do on offense. At least the 3-pointers, right? This Sky defense is good at limiting threes. What they're not good at is keeping from turning the ball over and then limiting the opponent's ability to get out into transition and get points off of those turnovers. They currently rank 8th in the league, so 5th worst in terms of limiting the opponent's points off of their turnovers. But you see that little asterisk there. In the last 10, really 11 games since they came back from the break, they are dead last in this category in terms of turning the ball over a ton and then allowing their opponent to get points off of that. This would be the area that I would say is the reason that the Lynx could and probably should win by 12 points. It's just really going to be a matter of, do you want to bet on which force is going to play out and dominate here, whether it's the Sky down low dominating the Lynx, or do you think the Lynx are just going to play helter-skelter ball out on the perimeter, get those turnovers, and get easy buckets? The other thing here is that the Lynx don't really cover at home, and it's a sort of the same thing that plagues the Liberty, for instance, right? Which is that the Liberty are always massive favorites at home. So their against the spread record is also not that good at home, as opposed to on the road, where they get a little bit more leeway. They get more spreads under 10 points, and they're able to cover those. Lynx are in the same position here. They are 15-3 at home, one of the best teams at home in the league. However, they've only covered 10 of those 18 games, and that's still a good rate, for covering, but it's not like an edge here that gives us really a trend reason to bet on the Lynx just because they're at home. It's not that big of an advantage when you see the spread as high as it is in this game. Plus, the 8.3 points the average margin of victory that they have here. They're a plus 8.3 at home, so they are winning these games by about 8 points, but that ain't 12.5, right? That's still a good ways away from it. Granted, this Sky team, it's tough to see how they're going to come out and play because they really just look like they did not give one single solitary shit in this last game where they just got smacked by the Mystics. That said, maybe I could see them coming back out with a little bit more of a chip on their shoulders and not allowing the Lynx to just beat them up the way the Mystics did. So I'm staying away from any bet on the spread here with the Lynx. If you want to add their money line to any kind of parlays, I'm fine with it, but it's like minus 750, not going to really juice up any of your plays. But I do want to give you a bet, and this is a player prop that I am going with here. It's Camila Cardoso over 20.5 points and rebounds is what that should say. Points plus rebounds combined gets you to 21 here, minus 125 on FanDuel. And it's, kind of a consistent play, which is who is the center playing the Lynx? Are they good enough to dominate down low? And the answer here is yes. We've even seen Cardoso already do this. So Minnesota versus centers, big time struggles, 8th most rebounds allowed, 6th most points per game allowed to that position. And it might not seem that bad comparatively, but they are so good at other things, specifically limiting guards and perimeter play, that this is a pretty stark difference and something that should be noted, that they're not good at defending down low. They allow the 6th most points inside 5 feet. They allow the 2nd most points per game off of putbacks and the 5th most points per game off of the post-up play. And that's what Cardoso is going to do here. She's really going to look to crash the offensive boards like a maniac, like she always does. And she is going to be going into that post-up and looking to score on the forwards and center for this Lynx team, which, is probably going to be a lot of Alana Smith. Just not really the weapons to handle Cardoso down low, though. And she's been getting 33 to 36 minutes consistently since Angel Reese went down. I think we continue to see that type of stuff from her in this one. Quick reminder, I am using outlier.bet. If you don't yet have a subscription yet to this platform, highly recommend using it, especially for the W. Super, super helpful to show you everything you need in one place, helping you make these bets super efficiently, which is how I'm able to get a lot of stuff out as well. So if you want a 7-day free trial, jump into the description of the video. Link is in there so you can get 7 free days. See if it works for you. Another rematch that we've got here. The Fever are playing host once again to the Aces. We just saw this game a couple days ago. 11-point victory for the Aces in that one. So let's take a look a little bit of why that happened. Still same concept here for how good these two teams are. We showed you this a couple days ago. Both very good on offense. The Aces have stepped up their defense as well. This last game went comfortably under, failing to get to the 178.5 total, which is, once again, basically what we have here, 177 or 178.5, depending on which book you find it. Both are going to play really fast. It's just going to be a matter of how well do they shoot. And just to get right into it, here's kind of what stood out from last game. This was the 11-point game. The field goal percentage, okay, it doesn't look that bad, 44% to 39%, but the Aces just didn't miss from 3, man. They basically made half their threes, 45% from deep, and the Fever were equally as bad as the Aces were good. 27% from deep, not going to cut it. Large part of that, Caitlin Clark. We'll dive into her stuff in 1 second, but you can see the rebounds were even. It was shooting and turnovers. The Fever gave up 14 turnovers, coughed up the ball, allowed the Aces to get out into transition where they got a bunch of points off of turnovers and fast break as a result of these Fever turnovers. So those are the two key areas here in the Fever this game as well. Can they make their shots? Can they play a little bit better perimeter defense? And can they stop turning the ball over? I mentioned rookie sensation Caitlin Clark, aka Cece. Really poor game in this last one. She did manage to end with 16 points, got to the line a couple times, and did make her 2s, did not make her 3s. 1 for 10 from deep. That was a key there. They also limited her assists, only 6 dimes in this game after she'd been averaging about 11 over the course of the last 10 games, leading the league in assists during that time as well. Really came back down to earth. Saw a lot of the frustration. She was putting up these 40-footers at times that were like, yo, this is not necessary. She just seemed to be feeling the sort of aura of the crowd and the energy, and that just led her to really be inefficient and pretty sloppy with the ball, if we're being honest. So I honestly expect a big turnaround from her. I have not yet put a bet on her, but I'm looking closely at it, and we'll be updating the Discord with that stuff as soon as I have a play there. One more game to take you through. I am looking at Seattle in Dallas, taking on this Wings squad. This poor Wings squad, if we're being honest. If you look at the matchup in terms of the season stats here, we can use some of this, but mostly Seattle's been really good on defense. Their offense has started to wane a little bit. I will be honest, it's not that impressive over the course of the last couple weeks and really last month of the season that they've been playing. But both these teams are probably going to continue to play pretty fast. Seattle maintains a really high pace. The Wings, we know, are the fastest team in the league right now. And rebounding could be a big advantage for the Wings as well. But the important thing here is that the Wings are playing their second straight game. They're on the second leg of a back-to-back here after losing twice in a row to the Liberty on their home floor. Now they're welcoming in the Storm. It's actually also their third game in 4 nights. So they played on Tuesday, and they played Thursday, and now they're going to play on Friday again. That's not good. I do not trust them to be able to really hold up during this stretch right now. Here's what would scare you about betting on the Storm is if you dive into the Wings offense and what they like to do. It's exactly where the Storm are the weakest on defense, right? They give up a ton of stuff down low, much better perimeter defense. They give up offensive rebounds. They give up second chance points as a result of those offensive rebounds, and a lot of points in the paint as a result of all of that. You can see their bottom 4 or 5 in the league in those really key categories where this is all the Wings really do. Right, they get into the lane, they use their bigs, and now that Sabali's back, they're going to shoot a few more threes, but she's still playing a lot of that mid-range and in-game as well. So that's going to be where the Wings look to score, and if the Storm can't stop that, they might be in trouble. Until you look at the other side of the floor, where they're certainly not going to be in trouble. And that's all the things that the Storm do well on offense are where the Wings are the worst. So full transparency, without reading off everything you can see here, I am laying a bet on the Storm -7.5. I still think that's a good number. It's pretty high. I don't love this Storm team. I don't think they're as good as teams like the Lynx or the Liberty or the Sun or the Aces. I think they're probably the 5th best team in the league. But this Wings team is either the 2nd or 3rd or worst team in the league. We'll give the Sparks the worst team accolade, but we will say the Wings are bad, and they've continued to be bad even as Sabali came back. They had a little 3-game win streak right after the Olympic break, and now they've come right back into reality and lost a bunch more games in a row against much better competition. So you put them in this situation with basically no rest, not only back-to-back, but 3rd game in 4 nights. Not a good situation. I'm happy to lay the 7.5 with the Seattle Storm. And that is all the time that I have for you guys in this one. Continue to follow along. A couple updates as well. Going to have the Friday show with Dieter Kurtenbach, the NFL show. Going to be bringing you best bets, the stinky bet of the day, something you need to keep an eye on. Who is the public betting on and why you should stay away from that game or bet the opposite. And then also looking at a bunch of player props. And we're going to put together a touchdown parlay. So that's every Friday. Going to be doing that with Dietz. Really good NFL brain on Dieter, so really excited to have and hear his angles on a lot of these sides and totals as I bring you a few more of the player props. Also on Sunday, going to be back with Modai on his live stream, talking more NFL, so definitely check that out. And I'll have the Saturday WNBA slate filled with a bunch of games and previews as well for you guys coming out tomorrow. So lots to look forward to, pretty busy schedule. And until I see y'all next, happy betting.